We review our 2019 Regulatory and Legislative Trends Report, discuss medical transportation in the workers' comp system, our latest quarterly economics briefing, and more. The latest episode of NCCI's Insights Video Edition starts right now. Welcome to NCCI's Insights Video Edition. This is channel NCCI, and you're watching NCCI's Insights Video Edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sheila Fordson. Here we get you up to date with the latest content found in our Insights portal at ncci.com/insights. Links to each article we cover in this episode can be found under this video. Workers' compensation coverage for mental-only injuries, the legalization of marijuana, and reimbursement of medical marijuana in workers' comp claims are just a few of the topics highlighted in our 2019 Regulatory and Legislative Trends Report. The report provides an overview of the latest countrywide, regional, and individual state actions and trends as of June 2019. NCCI monitors these activities and provides the report to keep you informed about emerging trends and hot topics affecting workers' comp. Here's Executive Director for Regulatory and Legislative Analysis, Laura Kersey.
So NCCI has produced the Regulatory and Legislative Trends Report for over a decade now. We used to present it as part of the annual issue symposium. But over the past couple of years, we've released the report in July to better align with the legislative cycles. And over the past 2 years, we've had a new look and feel for the report. Over the years, first responder legislation has been our largest category of legislation, and 2019 was no different. We monitored over 120 bills regarding workers' compensation coverage for first responders, and many of these bills dealt with mental injuries or coverage for mental injuries such as post-traumatic stress disorder. At least 26 states considered that type of legislation, and 8 states actually passed legislation addressing benefits for mental injuries for first responders. And another state passed a bill that created a group to study the issue. So another trending issue this year was the issue of single-payer health insurance. We monitored over 40 bills that either proposed to implement a single-payer healthcare system in the state or proposed to study the issue. The report also includes workers' compensation-related court cases of interest. For example, in New Hampshire, the New Hampshire Supreme Court handed down a decision regarding reimbursement for medical marijuana and workers' compensation. So the report includes a synopsis of that decision. The report also includes information about new state administrators. It provides actuarial information for each zone, and it also includes links to references and other resources for our stakeholders.
Medical transportation and workers' compensation can take many different forms, and the cost of some services has risen in recent years. For example, an air ambulance trip can exceed $45,000 and ground ambulance service over $1,400. Medical transportation costs in workers' compensation looks at different forms of medical transportation, the changes in costs, and utilization trends in workers' comp claims. We spoke with Manager and Associate Actuary Dan Clayman to learn more.
Well, air ambulances and their associated costs have garnered attention from the NAIC, U.S. Congress, and other stakeholders. In the work comp arena, much of the discussion is centered around the state's ability to regulate the maximum reimbursements for these services. Using NCCI's medical data, we were able to provide stakeholders with information on medical transportation, including air ambulance services. Ambulance payments, both ground and air, represent nearly 70% of total medical transportation costs. Second, while air ambulance episodes represent only 5% of total ambulance episodes, they make up nearly half of all ambulance payments, illustrating their relative costliness. And last, costs for medical transportation, particularly ambulance services, have come up in recent years, and a single air transport can cost in excess of $45,000. NCCI will continue to monitor changes in both benefit costs and utilization trends of medical transportation in the future.
NCCI's latest quarterly economics briefing for the third quarter of 2019 has been released. It features an analysis of how the next recession is likely to impact workers' compensation. This issue also introduces new formatting and new content, a new layout for the review of current conditions, presenting current economic data pertinent to workers' compensation. A new medical outlook to be published on the first and third quarters presents insights into medical costs and trends. NCCI's Raji Chattaravian talks more about what's included in this first installment of the medical outlook.
One of the key values that this section is going to provide is to look under the hood, if you like, for all the medical treatments that are provided within the workers' compensation system to help the injured workers get better and go back to work. So we're going to look at trends with regards to prices, types of treatments, those kinds of things, and that will inform the industry where the most attention is needed and how things are growing or changing over time. Now, in this specific report, we look at the overall payments over the last 5 years, from 2014 to 2018. And what we see there is that in large part, it is the payments to facilities, to hospitals and ambulatory surgical centers that are driving the payment per claim over this last 5-year period. Now, that has been rather muted as a general trend, increasing only at about 1.8% every year. But also, there's a large decrease in the use of prescription drugs, particularly opioids. And we look at that in this new edition of the Quarterly Economic Brief. Medical benefits in workers' compensation make up 60% of the total workers' compensation benefits paid. So it's important to have the right attention and precise look at the different trends as they change over time. So we want to be sure to share the wealth of information that we are collecting through our data with our affiliates and the industry at large.
Be sure to check out our latest Industry Roundtable feature, where NCCI President and CEO Bill Donnell speaks with Phil Kalin, President and CEO of Pinnacle Assurance and Chair of the American Association of State Compensation Insurance Funds. Kalin shares his thoughts on industry disruption, transformation, and more. Thanks for watching another Insights video edition here on Channel NCCI. Get frequent updates on NCCI articles, events, and more by following us on Twitter at NCCI. And be sure to check out past Insights video edition episodes right here on our channel and find articles we mentioned in this episode and much more at ncci.com/insights. We'll see you next time when we cover the issues at the top of the workers' comp agenda from the source you trust.